There it is.
Welcome to the Solid Verbal.
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. I've heard so many players say, well, I want to be happy. You want to be happy for a day? Eat a steak. It's not good.
And down in time.
Welcome back to the Solid Verbal. Woo! Hello, Chicago. My name is Ty Hildebrandt, that fine gentleman over there. You know him well. The one, the only, Dan Rubenstein. All the show is driven by our good friends over at Geico. This is our Fantasy Things Live Draft 2022. Give yourselves one more round of applause before we get this thing going. Wow. So we started the Fantasy Things back in 2014 or 2015.
That doesn't matter.
Way back when. A different bygone era.
Yeah.
And the premise was everybody likes fantasy football, some form of fantasy sports.
Yep.
We decided we would put our own spin on that, right?
Yeah, we decided to make it stupider and sillier, which is difficult because it's already a little bit silly to be a coach of a team that doesn't exist.
Also very true.
Yes.
So, with that being said, instead of players, we draft what? Storylines?
Narratives, yeah.
Goofy things in college football, right? Of course, we're a college football show.
Yep.
Each time we make a pick, we stole this from ESPN.
There it is. Yeah.
We will play the appropriate draft time and then just go right into this thing. We've got a list in front of us here of the picks that we made, and we did introduce a bit of a variation backstage. That being something that we noticed via our Verballers.com Discord.
Yeah.
Which we decided we will offer as a one-time only swap deal.
That's true, yeah.
If we decide that anything that we have predetermined here is not good enough, one time only. Whoever hits their desk first, they're the person that gets to swap.
Very official, yeah.
Yeah, very official.
Yeah.
It's not a buzzer. So, without further ado, should we get this thing started? Dan, you are the native son of Chicago now.
Yes. Sort of. Yeah, I'm the Chicagoland area. I'm in the burbs. I'm not from here. I enjoy it here.
But because you live here, I think you get the first
I think
pick.
we just got a woo for enjoyment. He doesn't love it, but he's feeling pretty good. He's good.
Shall we give you the first pick?
All right, pick is in. Yeah, let's do it. So we had a bank of items. That was pretty long. It was pretty robust. And I went with the one, because ordinarily when we do this, it's sort of like, oh, if this thing happens every week all the time, it's a great pick. And now we just do silly things that we hope happen once, twice, 4 times, whatever. Like a very silly injury is always fun. Not for them. But we enjoy it. Like the failed hurdle, right?
Yep.
I am going with something that I think is going to score weekly. This is it's almost too easy. And the number 1 overall pick goes to me. So with my pick, I'm going to take the SEC. It just means too much. It means a little bit more than it should.
A little bit too much.
Yes.
Explain.
Okay, so this past week we had rooster naming. That was a thing.
The cock commander.
Like to
be fair, yeah.
First of all, it's a family audience, Ty. You were very quick with that.
I was a little too quick.
South Carolina renaming the rooster in charge of ceremonial military operations in South Carolina.
Very official name.
Yeah.
Potentially cock commander.
Potentially cock commander for the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Yeah.
But there were weird ones. We came up with our own weird ones. And then like Reveille, the Texas A&M, not a mascot. I like that though. I like people, it's quick with the woos. I like that. Reveille has an email address and a phone number and
it's true.
A P.O. box. I don't know. So I love that we have We have Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher yelling at each other from afar. We have, what do we have at Kentucky? We have the basketball coach and football coach yelling at each other via Twitter videos.
Twitter, of course, Twitter.
It's great.
Always
you go across,
Twitter.
You have the call of the Hogs, right, at Arkansas. I just kind of like that. I'm not making fun of that. I just think it's pretty great. And it's just all over the sport, right? You go back to Harvey Updike, you go back to all sorts of people. And so the SEC and SEC culture and SEC fandom, which I love, which I support, but taking it just a hair too far, I'm in for that. I think that's going to hit a lot.
It is the SEC where it does just mean more.
It just does mean more.
Maybe a little too much this year.
Yeah. What I like about the SEC too is there are very specific just ideas about what different fans of schools smell like. Do you know
This is
about...
not a hair thing, is it?
No, but
We're
it's
not
just like
Okay.
a certain number of people decided that LSU fans smell like corn dogs. I don't even know how you accomplish that unless you are bathing in cornmeal batter. But who's to say is exactly right. I like this fan participation. At the end of the show, by the way, there will be actual sanctioned fan participation. There's a microphone over there. But I love how specific it gets.
Yeah.
When I say too much, it doesn't really affect me. It's a positive thing for me, so I'm into it.
All right, give it up for... It just means too much.
Too much.
Too much. With the next pick, the number 2 overall pick, Fantasy Things Draft 2022, I am selecting a punter or holder taking matters into his own hands.
I love this. It's so good.
There are 2 variations of this that I don't feel like we talk about enough as a college football just fan entity.
Yeah.
The first is the rugby style punter.
Yes.
There's a lot of suspense with the rugby punt these days.
I love it.
They take the snap, they start moving forward. Will they kick it?
Who's to say? Just like whoever said that over here.
Will they kick it now?
I love it.
Or will he just take matters into his own hands and run for it?
It's his prerogative.
Doesn't happen that often.
Right.
But when it happens, I want it.
So the gold standard is the holder, though, right?
The goal, and this is where I'm going with this
Yeah.
next. The other variation of this, taking matters into their own hands, is the holder who is briefly spooked
Yes.
by just something. Who knows what? It could be
Yeah.
anything. Spooked as the ball comes in for the field goal. Maybe he just mishandles it a little bit. Maybe it's just he's feeling himself. I don't know.
Easy.
And makes
Easy.
and just makes a run for it.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 possibilities here with punter or holder taking matters into their own hands.
I identify with the holder because it's the mindset of, this is my moment. Like, this is not what you were brought here to do. This is my moment. When things go 1.5% awry, I was like, all right, it's my time. 5th string walk-on
Because
quarterback.
you know that they tell him,
Yeah.
if anything happens, just break it off.
Right.
Just go for it. And I feel like there's so much pressure in some of these situations, the bar is lowered.
Totally.
The bar is lowered for what constitutes going wrong.
Well, you have the Ray Finkel laces out, right? So
That's
it's
absolutely
in
right.
popular American cinema, the holder. But there are 2 moments where the holder is the hero. And so you do have that glory as the holder where you have to take things into your own hands or you accomplish something wonderful. That's a bad snap in the dirt. You make the best of it. The kick goes through the uprights.
Make the best
Great
of it.
moment for a holder.
Yeah.
The other one is when you get that trick play called for you specifically.
Where you can throw it over the back?
The toss up.
LSU
What
style.
is better? Can you imagine what it's like to sleep as a holder the night before, knowing that play might
It's
be called?
in the game plan. Yeah.
You have to call everybody back home and you're like, pay attention. I can't tell you why, but pay attention. That's wonderful. And it's not them taking it into their own hands, but it's something special.
It's a variation of it.
Yes.
I like my pick.
This is so not taking into their own hands, but again, it's the performance of a holder or punter. I love, and I don't believe this is on our bank. Let me make sure I'm not stealing your thunder later. I'm not. Is the punter selling the fake punt with the ball that presumably is sailing over his head, but in fact, it's one of the protectors that is taking it. I love that sales pitch from the... Oh, no, everything is gone. That's wonderful. That's great. And I
Punter or
appreciate
holder
that.
taking matters into his own hands.
Yes.
Third pick is to you, Mr. Rubenstein.
I am taking, and this is near and dear to me. What did you call me? A son of Chicago? A native son of Chicago?
Native son of Chicago.
Okay, I'm from Southern California. And this means, did you say something?
I did.
Okay, we're nailing it. A new and improved USC, wait for it, Ty, hype machine. Isn't that bass incredible? This is easily the best bass we've ever had
Very
for a
good
live
bass.
show.
Very good bass.
We paid Chris Nolan a lot of money to produce this show. We are very broke now. Yeah.
So, I mean, There's a lot on the line for USC this year, right?
Yeah.
They obviously bring over Lincoln Riley. There are photos that have emerged of a $17 million mansion that he bought with the spoils from his contract, reportedly.
Yeah. By the way,
in the $100 million range, we don't know for sure.
Oh, that's nice. Go back and once again introduce Lincoln Riley and then hold for reaction from the crowd. I'm just curious. So say the intro again.
Lincoln Riley. Mixed results here.
By the way, the splash zone, the first 2 rows here, a lot of shrugs. Not a lot of caring in the splash zone. You're going to care in a little while. Okay, sorry. And it's not water. Continue.
So, I mean, we've been telling the USC joke since we started doing the show back in 2008.
Yeah. It's a new year, but it's a very similar hype to USC. And it's been a minute since USC was really good consistently, but it's an overdrive that I don't think we're fully used to. And look, if it starts poorly, this is not going to score for me at all. It's going to die out like last year's USC team. But there is something. It was a rough watch.
It was rough.
The 2021 USC team was rough. But there is something that I love that people assume, like, well, they're in LA. LA does not care about USC at all. They do not. USC is 37th. Like, the LAFC or whatever the second MLS team, people are hyped for that. People are into that. If you walk down any street in Los Angeles, you walk down Figueroa, which is where the Coliseum is, and you say, Jordan Addison, huh? They will think that's a porn star. They will actively think, they're like, oh, and they'll pretend not to know who it is, but they'll be like, and it's great. It's great because it's the same thing every year, and we're going to get it going into the season. We'll get it all season long, and there will be excuses if it doesn't work out, and then it goes into 2023.
See, what I was hoping you would do with this pick, I'm a little disappointed,
it's okay.
if I'm being honest.
No, this is an
I'm a little disappointed
diamond.
because what I was hopeful you might do is envision a world in which Lincoln Riley, this aw-shucksy young whippersnapper of a coach, comes west, makes a ton of money, and then instead of being aw-shucksy, you look at the context. He stole players from Pitt. Mm-hmm. He recruited the transfer portal, wink, wink.
Right.
Basically conducted his own version of free agency in the offseason. What if he just steered into it?
He should.
What if instead of the aw-shucks character, he's like, yeah, what do you care? What if he just went full Hollywood Hogan heel turn?
It would still take a lot from me. I'm for it. He needs to change what he wears. That's a big thing. He needs to rebrand.
No visor?
No visor.
Yeah.
Bandana, he would look very weird. But you brought up the Hogan thing. He needs to go for it. He needs to become that heel because otherwise, like, look, I know we're talking about we're all in the Midwest and USC and a Big Ten power. I understand. I just don't think people outside of Norman, Oklahoma have that many opinions of Lincoln Riley.
And they do have opinions. We've gotten emails, yeah.
They do have opinions. I've enjoyed it. It's been a terrific offseason. But no, he really needs to lean into it. He really needs to steer into, because they need attention. And if he's just going to be a portal guy, if he's just going to be shopping at Isle Pitt, I don't know what. God, I'm so sorry, Pitt fans. You've had it rough. He needs to go into that direction. So I think you're right. I think the USC hype machine is going to continue.
Just become the dark side, Lincoln Riley.
Absolutely become the dark side.
All right. New and improved USC hype machine. I am picking announcers who clearly cheat on the Aflac trivia question.
That's a good one. It's so specific for this crowd.
Listen, this drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts. And it happened this morning. I watched the game, whatever game day they did this morning.
Yeah.
You cannot convince me that Kirk Herbstreit, who travels, 3,000 miles a week, calls the NFL game now, does game day, and then also calls the big ABC game. You cannot tell me that on command he remembers Brad Smelly's name.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
You cannot convince me that that is something that real people can do.
I like to picture you maybe sitting next to Mama H, sitting on the couch, when the Aflac trivia question comes up, and both of you in unison, oh, bullshit, Kirk. You didn't know Troy Fumagalli. You didn't know Jeremy Gallen. No way. I like that, and I like it because this sort of conspiratorial that he's being fed answers, but like kind of selling, thinking about it. I like that, Ty. That's a good pick from you.
This morning, on whatever version of Game Day they had at whatever hour we were watching, I'm lost track of time at this point. But the Bear comes on playfully, as he always does, and he asks Reese Davis, what's the only current Power 5 school to never be ranked in a preseason AP Top 25?
The only current one in this year's.
The only current one.
I don't even know the answer.
Just the only team, the only Power 5 team, not even ranked this year. Never ranked in the AP Top 25. And let's give it a week.
Give it a week. We have a Nebraska shirt, front and center. Okay. Quick little aside here.
Is it Rice?
He is so brave. Imagine walking into this room and be like, yeah, we still have Scott Frost. I don't know. Yeah, it's tricky, Ty.
We'll talk later.
We're going to come back to this. He has a good mustache. If you haven't seen Herbie the mustache over here, it's great. Yeah, continue.
But Reese Davis just knows, boom, Vanderbilt.
Oh, it's Vandy?
Now, if you take a minute to think about it, sure, that makes sense. But he just knows it on command. He's got Pete Thamel on a satellite uplink. Yeah. David Pollock with an intensified Southern drawl. I don't know if anyone's heard this.
I have.
It got worse. I don't know how that happened. And he just knows, it's Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
That's BS. That is BS.
You're calling it right now.
I'm calling it right now. They're doing it in a production meeting, and he's trying to drum it up as if, I just sort of have that knowledge on hand.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you I cheated my way into going to the prom for free? I cheated money out of my mom. She said if I could get a certain percentage of Jeopardy questions correct, she would pay for me to go to the prom. That was just like a reward.
Was it Kids Jeopardy?
It was not Kids Jeopardy, which makes it worse because what happened was I was doing homework. I had a clock radio that would pick up the network TV channels. No. And I just listened to Jeopardy. And then I went downstairs. So this is just in line with your Reese Davis conspiracy theory. And I went downstairs and I was like, the Magna Carta? What is Orion's belt? Who is the Gipper? And my mom was like, this is an incredible run you're on. You must go to your prom for free. And I told her after the fact, and the deflation in her face, the pain, my dear sweet mother was like, we could have just worked something out. And I was like, for that brief moment, that heater was pretty impressive, right? And she was like, not anymore, no. Yeah. So I've been there, I know, I'm a bad person.
We have industry sources, and I'm hopeful that somebody out there is listening to this and can reach out on Signal or some sort of encrypted means to not give away the game.
What needs to happen is we need to get a hold of a producer and we need to feed the wrong answer to Kirk Herbstreit.
Yeah.
And not only do we need to feed the wrong answer, we have to invent a name for him to answer with. I don't know what that name is.
This would be Secret Verbal times 1,000.
Right.
Yeah.
What was the name of Andy Samberg's character from Brooklyn Nine-Nine? Jake Peralta? We're going to have Kirk Herbstreit, excuse me. I've had a little beer.
Kirk Ferentz has no idea what that show is.
No, Kirk Ferentz. Nothing has aired since MASH for Kirk Ferentz. I don't feel bad. But yes, we need somehow to get a mole into those meetings.
That's going to be, if nothing else this season, our one and only goal.
All right. I think I technically already got points for this next one. I have Big Ten offense can't get its act together with a good defense. We're hearing people yell out cheap and cheating. I know.
We're deep in Big Ten territory here.
That's true. Ty could have selected that, but he didn't. There is going to be something, because there always is something about you listed the teams that could qualify.
Yeah, I have it here. Penn State, Indiana, maybe Michigan, definitely Rutgers, Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Illinois, Northwestern, pretty much the whole Big Ten West. That's it.
Yeah. When we were talking about this earlier, I tried to get into the head of an Iowa season ticket holder, looking at his or her, the season tickets, like the card with it all together, and just saying, Okay. Preparing for another year of possibly having to duck passes from Spencer Petras in the 7th row. Yeah. This one's gonna score a lot.
It kind of scored a lot earlier today.
Yeah,
Literally scored a lot. There was no defense today.
There was no defense. So it doesn't, Northwestern, how many points did they score? 31 points?
We're living on an alternate timeline right
This is
here.
unbelievable.
What the hell's going on?
Even year cats. We have 7 fans in all of Chicago who are nodding their head. Yeah, that's true. Even year cats. I think it's gonna hit early and often, Ty. And so I'm ready to cash in on this one.
The thing about the Nebraska game today.
Let's talk.
Let's talk about Nebraska.
Yeah.
Lock it up.
Lock it up, yes. Thank you. Somebody reminded me of that.
Somebody on this stage had the gumption, had the courage, had the wherewithal and foresight to say, I don't know, their coach is still Scott Frost. And Ty's like, they're winning by at least 14. I don't see how they won 56-7 last year. How are they getting 49 points worse?
Is it just me or did Scott Frost beef up?
He did beef up. To his credit.
He looks like Tiger Woods when Tiger was wearing like the real tight red.
Yes.
What's going on? It's like full bouncer mode.
Yeah.
For Scott Frost, but
the trapezius is the trapezii.
Yeah, it's very intense. But they were up in that game.
Yeah.
They were up in that game early. The second half it stopped working.
Yeah.
And then we looked at the stat line backstage. We're like, it kind of looks like every game last year.
It kind of does. And there was something very specific about, and I like Casey Thompson, I think he's a good quarterback, but something you love, and that's the 137 mile an hour 4-yard pass.
Oh, the Max Whittick.
Yeah.
The Max Whittick, yeah.
I would just, if I were that receiver, was it Whittick? Yeah, I guess it was Whittick, yeah?
Yeah.
Just going back to the sideline to the receivers coach or on the horn with the coordinator and saying, what am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah.
What? This is the best as I could do. It's coming in so fast.
Every pass thrown with maximum force.
It's tough. And so, yeah, Nebraska, it's going to be a long year. And look, we don't need to jump to conclusions after week 0. But if we were to,
right,
they might look exactly how they looked last year.
If Scott Frost misses his flight coming back from Europe,
yeah,
may not be by an accident.
No, I'm in on the Cats all of a sudden. I'm ready.
With the 6th overall pick, I am selecting Notre Dame's youth movement. Yeah! Come on!
I'm seeing some clapping.
Few scattered claps out there.
Yeah.
Not a Notre Dame crowd. Yeah, there we go. All right.
They're all old, Ty. Thank you. Go Irish.
That's for you, Dan.
Thank you.
That's for you. I was thinking of
Glenn
this.
Miller. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Has anybody ever pounded on their chest and pointed to the sky on this specific stage and said, Glenn Miller?
Not to Glenn Miller.
No.
Not to Glenn.
Lots of respect.
I just kept thinking of this in terms of a recent divorce. Because,
Okay.
Notre Dame's been through that. Mm-hmm. And they're just getting back out there now.
Yeah? Doing some TikTok dances?
Just trying to feel dangerous again. Mm-hmm. Started wearing Air Force Ones.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit, actually, of that Del Curry thing that you just referenced.
Oh, my God.
When Del Curry decided he wanted to split with his wife.
Yeah.
And there was uproar on Twitter saying, dude, you don't want to be back out there.
Yeah.
You don't know what they're doing out there.
You don't want to be out here. Yeah. There was, do you know how that saga has continued, by the way, if we're going to go to Del Curry conversation in the middle of a live college football podcast? They're now dating the couple that they allegedly cheated on each other with. They cheated on each other with a couple. And now okay, continue.
This is
it's incredible.
There is not an obvious tie with Notre Dame on that front.
No.
But I feel like on the Notre Dame side of things, all right, got rid of Brian Kelly. Mm-hmm. All right, recruiting has been at a fever pitch. Mm-hmm. We're going into this season, I say royal we.
Yeah.
We're playing Ohio State, a heavy underdog, but we saw today, miracles can happen.
Yeah. Miracles?
So with that being said,
by the way, something continuing to exist as it has for a while. It's not fully a miracle, but continue.
I've been struggling with how are the announcers going to talk about Notre Dame? What is the way in which they're going to frame this? Mm-hmm. This new and exciting, this upstart, how is Notre Dame going to reframe this thing?
Yeah.
And the only thing I can come up with is they're going to focus in on the youth movement. Look how young these coaches are.
Yeah.
Look how young this team is. Mm-hmm. Everything's going to be about youth movement. And I hope it stays that way because there's a chance to get blown out week one. Of course.
Sorry,
let's focus on that part of it and not what else goes on the field.
My mind is now drifting to Al Golden wearing Supreme, and it's a weird vision up here. He's sweaty. To be clear, he's still sweaty. There has been something in the ether about Notre Dame. Notre Dame's pretty cool now, you guys. Marcus Freeman wears quarter zips, so he really has an understanding of recruiting. They're all going to decommit, but he's pretty cool. Is it too soon?
It's too soon. It's a little too soon.
I like riling them up.
We've got to cheer here. Stop cheering.
Yeah.
Rubbing it in. They already want to smell my hair. Don't rub this in.
Yeah, there is that element of Notre Dame's pretty cool now. Anytime I tried to hear that, I picture Brian Kelly squatting and doing this. Like, we've been through this, everybody. And then I think about, because I've been to a Notre Dame game. I went to a Notre Dame Boston College game, maybe. Are they still a thing, Boston College? Do they still exist?
They've got a Notre Dame quarterback.
I know, that's true. But I always get back to, I got off the elevator in the press box, and it was just wall-to-wall elderly ushers. And I knew that they had probably been sleeping there. I knew that there was probably just, this is what's baked into Notre Dame Stadium. And I could not get past it. Anytime I hear Notre Dame's cool now, I know younger Notre Dame fans. I know they exist, but I also know what's what.
Dressing a little younger than they are.
They're pretty cool. Brian Kelly.
Brian
Kelly. Okay, so this one, should we offer some sort of warning on this one? Okay, so slow motion. Slow motion is not my pick, but it's a very specific kind of slow motion. Slow motion is an incredible feature for college football. You're seeing
lengthens the game, though.
Yes, absolutely. It does. Well, let's replay, but slow motion, you see a toe tap, and you're like, oh, it dragged along those blades of grass. Or like, oh, the ball did cross the plane. Now that we see it in slow motion, we have come to this conclusion. With the 7th pick, I have selected slow motion replay reveals a clear nut shot. Now, I want to be very specific. No, I don't. Never mind. I want to be very clear.
Clear. It's a better turn of phrase, yeah.
Slow motion. Pretty funny in a lot of instances. Nut shots. Your America's Funniest Home Videos. Pretty funny. Not happening to me. Pretty funny. Slow motion nut shots should not be allowed on television. There should be FCC complaining. There should be apologies from back in Bristol or LA or something. Rob Stone be like, look, something just aired that we didn't mean to. And I was trying to figure out and then remembered where the most recent high-profile one was. And if you remember that Clemson-Ohio State game, Curtis Samuel. What happened to Curtis Samuel by Christian Wilkins should be punishable by some pretty extreme things. Because, technically speaking, and if you want to do sound effects, please chime in.
I don't. I have no sound effects. Yeah.
Please no is what the crowd said. If you remember correctly, it's not a clear physical traumatic event.
No.
It was a violent scoop, which is not a phrase I love using. It was an after the fact, I'm gonna go see what's what in a pretty fierce way. And I had almost fully erased it from my mind. And going back and watching it now, I am constantly just looking around wherever I go. And I tried to think of a pun because it's Ohio State, with Joe Burrow. Yeah. But it felt, this guy knows what I'm talking about. I love when it just slowly trickles and wafts over the crowd.
It's like a wave, yeah.
But yeah, that slow motion nut shot, at least it helps us learn about who we're watching and what they are or are not willing to do. Because I know things happen in the bottom of a pile. I know we don't want to know. But also, we have 4K cameras everywhere now. And so I know that this is not going to appear on our television sets every week.
Yeah.
But it's going to at some point.
It will. It will. You know what my favorite part of... Actually, it's none of it's my favorite part.
Okay.
Rephrase. What I enjoy... No.
Do you want to go behind the solid verbal sign and workshop it real quick? Yeah.
What's funny about this... No, still no good. The announcer's playing very gingerly with what's going on.
Yes.
They'll never come out and say it.
You might feel that in the morning. Yeah.
Oh, ha ha ha. Looks like he hit him in the upper thigh.
Upper thigh region.
They dance around it. They don't want to go there. Maybe there is an FCC thing. I don't know. We don't do this.
Yeah.
But they always just play very coy with the fact that some guy just took one in the nuts.
What? It's true. What you're saying is factually accurate. I just wish, and I don't think this is on our list, it was in our bank maybe, where an announcer or a play-by-play guy tosses it to a former player analyst. Whenever something happens in a game, it's like, you know how this goes.
Yeah.
You've been there before.
You know this. You've been there.
They never do that with the slow-mo nut shot.
No. And there's a lot of pregnant pauses in the broadcast.
Yeah, that's
Let's go to commercial, and then they just say, you know.
The soft Fox music, yeah. Oh my God, and just the boys, sorry boys, yeah, just a slow trickle tear down the guy. I'm picturing somebody playing live that song. That's not what's happening in the truck, but I like to think so.
The emoji with one tear.
The one tear, yeah. People don't watch that. Again, full speed nut shot in the right context, pretty funny. The slow-mo tie.
No, it's
never okay.
Speaking of announcers, Dan.
Yeah.
I'm going to select with my 8th overall pick, Joel Klatt having something to get off his chest.
Yeah. He always seems to have...
Boo!
Wait, hold on.
An anti-Klatt crowd here. Okay.
Are you booing Klatt or are you booing Klatt's opinions? Yes. Okay.
So, all right, to be clear, let me be clear. Let me level set on this.
Please.
As we used to say in the corporate world. Mm-hmm. I think Klatt is an excellent football analyst.
Okay.
I think
we all are entitled to our own opinions, yeah.
I think he has quickly become a very prominent college football voice.
Yes.
What's also clear is he has started to realize it.
Uh-huh.
Okay? Joel has found that confidence. And when you get that confidence, people ask you for opinions on all things college football. NIL, the transfer portal, targeting, the Iowa offense. Yeah, maybe some COVID topics.
Yeah, that's true.
Who's to say if you dig? But that's not any of the point of this. The point for me is this. Joel Klatt has restraint.
Yeah.
He doesn't just lay it on you. What's very amusing to me is the fact that he gives you just enough to know there's a lot more there. It's a whole iceberg thing with Klatt, where you know it's deep down inside, and if you got a couple beers in him, you'd hear a lot more than you bargained for.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
As his star, because I think it will, as his star continues to rise, you will say, Ty Hildenbrandt told me way back when not to be surprised when in the middle of a Kansas State, Texas, well, no, hold on, they're not playing each other anymore. I got to come up with a better answer. In the middle of a Kansas State Baylor game, all of a sudden he drifts off into talking about the sovereignty of Taiwan.
It's possible.
And it's just like, wait, where did this come from? It's 3rd and 7, Joel.
Yeah. He's slowly evolving into Tom Hammond, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is. There are more and more phrases that begin with "Call me old-fashioned, Gus," and then using the word analytics as if he learned it in the middle of the quarter. They call this stuff analytics, and I don't know. Back when I played, I'm like, okay, Joel.
It's just anytime he's hinting at a much stronger opinion.
Yes.
And then pulls back.
Yeah.
Just gets up to the line. Bit of a line stepper. Steps it on back.
Yeah, and it's also like you had frosted tips a half hour ago. let's just enjoy the game. Yeah. So that's a good one, Ty. I like that. So this one's not really fair for me to select. You see the shirt I'm wearing, Go Ducks. Yeah, there he is. There they are. Go Big Ten. But it took a
That was an
while
Oregon
to get
Big
here.
Ten joke for those who are listening at home.
I know. This is a Big Ten
Kudos
show
to
now.
whoever yelled that one out.
I'm going with Mario Cristobal has Miami DNA. That's going to pay off.
Yeah.
Whoa, that was an unexpected reaction.
It really was, because I find this genuinely amusing. Not the Mario Cristobal thing, not you losing your coach.
Yeah.
Just this constant quest to regain the swagger.
Yes,
It's been
of
college
course.
football's Indiana Jones and the Holy Grail. Just constantly ducking,
Yeah.
trying to step on the right tiles,
Yeah.
trying not to, the leap of faith, whatever that thing was.
Yeah.
Like, that really is Miami football trying to get back to where it was.
Yeah, it's the Hardy Boys out on the boat, the Photoshop we made way back when. Yeah. Is there Hardy Boys takes?
I mean,
we got the Nancy Drew hive over here. Okay. I love the unexpected energy here. But yes, you are right. But with Mario Cristobal specifically, he's from here, he played here, and then in random interviews, like he'll go on the Dan Le Batard show or in his introductory press conference, and obviously growing up there, he spoke 2 languages, but he'll be talking about, it's like, oh yeah, I'm having a great time, I've had a lot of cafetito. And like, well, where did that come from? And I appreciate how much he is going back to that. Look, we had some great times as a couple, and now I appreciate that he found his special someone in their search together for that swag.
what I find funny about it, outside of the fact that it's just one of those sagas that continues throughout college football, it really is a more acute version of the Michigan man syndrome, is it not?
Sure.
You know, yeah, you can.
Wait, who is that insulting to?
You know, because for a while, Michigan was looking for the most Michigan man possible
Of
to
course.
run the Michigan football team.
Yeah.
And such is the case with Miami. Each iteration of Miami coach has been progressively more Miami.
Yes.
Right? We started with assistants being promoted from within. We worked up to former players. There was the Al Golden thing. We won't talk about the Al Golden thing. Then we had the guy whose father was literally the mayor of Miami. And now we've got Mario Cristobal, played there, won a championship there, speaks Spanish.
Yep. It's great.
He is the most Miami guy. We are reaching terminal Miami velocity at this point.
Yeah, I mean, short of Pitbull, coaching the
Mr.
Miami
305.
Hurricanes. Which, by the way, I've seen recent Miami seasons. Might have been more entertaining if a coach wearing a headset very seriously looked at the field and went, dale, dale. That'd been great.
I heard an interview with Pitbull lately where he said that he doesn't record in the studio.
Oh, I know.
He always has the audio engineer with him, and he yells like you do into a mattress.
He yells like into a mattress. I don't do that. What are you talking about? Yeah.
You've built an audio fort like
I've built
that.
forts, yes. But yes, he travels and
I don't know where I was going with that, but
yells. I love the fact that somebody has to be in the hotel room next to Pitbull.
they always bring you an audio
I was
guy
like,
with
is
him.
Pitbull next to me? If that's not, it's somebody that sounds like Pitbull in room 1344. Yeah, okay. By the way, you brought up Michigan. Do you have any thoughts on the game 1 starter, game 2 starter?
What is that?
We saw that.
It's open mic night.
For the next hour, Ty's going solo. The next hour after that, I'm going to come up and do it. It's very odd.
So for people who haven't heard, Jim Harbaugh said what today? That Cade McNamara gets game 1, J.J. McCarthy gets game 2, and then what happens game 3?
We'll see who's better against Colorado State and Hawaii, and whether that's more meaningful against Iowa and Wisconsin and Ohio State. I don't know. It's very odd. Like, his whole job, find guys, figure out who's good, put them on the field, and he's kicking the can down the road. I'm like, we'll see what's what.
I mean, guys have done this before. It's not a new thing. They just, have they announced it before the season?
I don't think so. Not like this. It's so good. It does reek of, he wanted to be on the Vikings. He wanted to be coaching the Vikings. And he was like, how is a little Costanza dragging the World Series trophy? Is it a little like, well, if they fire me, I'll get booed. There is some of that. I can't understand any other reason to do this, but I'm very
Unless
silly.
you don't want J.J. McCarthy to transfer.
Right, I guess so, but it's going to be so great. It's so insane.
It can't end well.
No.
It just can't end well.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I am selecting announcer fascination with a foreign-born player.
That's always good. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like this has potential to be one of our best picks of all time.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's going to happen. Every punter is from Australia. Can you imagine? By the way, Australia, I'd love to go to you. It seems really fun. But, how much restraint does, I know this is your pick, but this is me.
No, please, continue.
How much restraint, if you were to go up to a play-by-play announcer and say, you can't mention that this punter is from Australia. Quarter and a half before that person was, they're from Australia. I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Well, and it's funny because we talked about this obviously before we came up here. Alabama's got a Finnish recruit.
Yes.
Big dude.
Yeah.
Olaus Alinen?
Something like
Alinen?
that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but the point is this, and I think you brought it up. It's tough to be an announcer. It's not easy to be an announcer. Tough. You're always looking for these factoids that you can use to relate to the audience, give them context, make it interesting, even if it's not your team, right? They just want to have you, presumably, to stick around and watch commercials. That's what this is now. It's almost involuntary that these guys are bringing up Chuba Hubbard. Did you know he's from British Columbia?
Yeah.
Chase Claypool, also from Canada. Your boy from Florida State, would you please say?
Bjorn Werner?
Thank you, Bjorn Werner.
Yeah.
We just constantly have this.
I don't know why I do that.
Yeah, it's
very stupid. Continue.
But we're just going to continue to have this. It's always been a thing. I feel like because the sport has grown, because they're now playing college football apparently in Europe, that it's going to continue to be a trend, and we need to get out in front of it here and make this pick. So I don't know what the international landscape looks like per se in 2022. I'm assuming there are at least a couple players, and when they are mentioned, these guys will let us know.
Yes, they will absolutely let us know. I enjoy too. So what they have is the broadcasters in the booth. They have these sheets of paper with the roster, and they say, okay, here's how you pronounce their name. Here is they're the junior. This is their weight. And so anytime somebody makes a play, they'll turn to, or they'll remember they're studying, and they'll say, another long run from the speedy Canadian. And that's where a lot of these announcers turn to. And so there is that fascination there that it's going to, I mean, look, you got the punter thing. That's going to pay off.
Always, yeah.
But no, I always appreciate that. That's always where they seem to turn. It's going to pay off, Ty.
So you'll notice a theme here with this draft for me. Not only am I taking the fascination with foreign-born players, but I've essentially got the handcuff with the punter or holder taking matters into his own hands.
That's true.
Right? I could get double the points, double the
punter
fun.
If an Australian punter goes rogue.
Yeah, the Australian makes a break for it. First down.
Yeah, that'd be great. Good for you. I'm a cheeky little fucker. Okay. Leave that in there. Okay, so let's see. We had you taking Joel Klatt. We had a slow motion replay. We have an announcer's fascination with a foreign-born player. We have announcers clearly cheating on the Aflac trivia question. I'm taking another announcer one because these are our favorites. I'm taking Kirk Herbstreit seems tired. Kirk Herbstreit seems tired.
He does.
And I don't know what he does the rest of the year, but Kirk Herbstreit seems tired.
He looks tired.
He looks tired. I don't really have a lot to add to this thought, but I think it's going to pay off pretty often because he seems tired.
He's doing the Thursday night game.
Yeah.
He's doing game day. We said this earlier. Then he's going to be doing the ESPN on ABC game, whatever we're calling it these days. The big game on ABC Saturday nights. Who knows what his Labor Day looks like? I don't know. He's probably doing like 8 games Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems tired. He looks tired.
He looks tired. Who gets points if Kirk Herbstreit calls a game in which a foreign-born player gets hit in the nuts? I was waiting for this gentleman to take a sip of his beer. The timing was such. He's had a bad day. Go Big Red. But I see you in my video screen doing that. I'm gonna wait till Ty takes a sip. There's a lot of crossover here. Like if a younger Notre Dame player from another country gets hit in the nuts and Kirk Herbstreit's calling, there's a lot. We can add this up and create a scaffolding of ridiculousness.
Yeah. What does Joel Klatt have to say?
What does Joel Klatt have to say? Yeah. Okay. So he does.
I am continuing my special teams trend, Dan.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Big special teams crowd here in Chicago.
That's all we got.
Well, hold on. Let's unpack this. All Chicago has is special teams.
And hot
dogs and
Mustard,
special teams.
Mustard's Last Stand. We drove by that.
Yeah, we drove by Mustard's Last Stand in Evanston. Okay.
I'm selecting a saucy onside kick.
Okay. This is good. Be more specific.
Yeah, to be clear, this is a whole family This is a whole family of onside kicks. Two specifically. There's the cheeky version where it's the kicker and he just sort of nubs it. Just sort of nubs it. He wants it to go 10 yards. He wants to be the one to recover it. And he's just going to nick it. Boop. And he hopes to do that again. Boop. Just goes straight.
You didn't see my foot. I did it. I'm very athletic. Continue.
But just wants to go 10 yards, be the one to fall on it, get the glory, essentially take matters into his own hands, recurring theme.
You're right.
Recover it, be the hero for a moment.
Yeah.
The second version is the one that is just kicked the piss out of.
Yes.
Overly kicked. You know it's intended to be one of those deals where they're trying to drive it into the ground, get it to go sky high, have the receiver run down, high point it, recover it, get the ball, go down and score a touchdown.
It's great.
There's really a nice little spectrum there of sauciness. We also have, and I don't know if this counts. I thought of this on the way up here.
This is my favorite, I think, what you're going to mention. Continue.
The thing that I don't know if it counts, we've seen this a lot lately because, really, they've been doing onside kicks for 100 years now. There's not a whole lot of wiggle room left for innovation.
Right.
But what you find kickers doing is they're finding new creative ways to put the ball against the tee.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I like that. Yeah.
So I'm curious if that counts at all if we see something new.
Alternate tee placements?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does it?
I don't. Sure. I thought you were going to say when the gentleman kicking the ball off nails the shit out of the ball straight at number 57 and has it carom back. That's my number one, where he does not get the play call in full detail and was like, well, let's just go for it this way.
It worked in Madden 04,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
That's what you could do in Madden 04.
Yeah, all the Notre Dame fans understand that reference, yeah.
A saucy onside kick, I don't know.
Yeah. No, saucy onside kick is great. The onside kick that was pulled off an Alabama-Clemson national championship, where they just nobody's over there. We're just going to sort of lot. That's great too. That you can't pull that off that much anymore. But okay, continue.
We've got 2 picks left, by the way.
Yeah. Oh man. So we haven't done the steal pick, right?
We have not done the steal pick.
I'm going to stick with my pick here. So you can do it with your last pick, but I know.
I can't.
I know.
I can't. This last pick's wired into me.
I'm going with weird food quirk revelations from players like Will Levis last year, but more so, I have not gotten over the fact that Sam Howell, we love you, Sam Howell, only eats chicken nuggets and chicken tenders and only has for the entirety of his life. And so we think we know teams, we think we know players, we don't know any of these guys. And then it turns out he mixes tuna with his hands and that's all he eats all the time. And he eats it out of a beer bong. And then the SEC network crew is like, isn't it wild? And you're like, what are you talking about?
This was inspired, by the way, by that hot dog straw circumstance.
The hot dog straw.
Have you seen this? No, we hear people yelling, no, just the groans.
I've had soda out of a licorice rope. Does that count? Is that gross? Probably. See? Team Dan. I wanted, and we didn't pull it off, I wanted Ty to start dipping tenders, #tenders with Ty. I wanted him dipping them into soda like that Knicks fan from a few years ago on stage. He didn't agree. Yeah, so weird food quirks, it'll come out. It's not going to pay off often, but I'm watching this like a hawk.
Somebody will now. I feel like there is this impulse to try and outdo Will Levis.
Yes, of
because
course.
There's no way that these are real things he does.
They are. I've seen him do it. I know.
I've seen the videos of them. Mm-hmm. I'm not convinced it's just a social media, not just a social media thing that he's doing because somebody puts a camera in front of his face. Nobody puts mayonnaise in their coffee.
Do you have any
It went quiet. Nobody here puts mayonnaise in their coffee.
Of course not. Do you have any? They put ranch dressing, Ty. We're in Chicago. Be cool. Do you have food quirks? Is there something that deep down in the recesses of your eating habits, you're like, I wish people didn't know about this, but do you I'm putting you on the spot here. Do you have anything?
I refuse to eat the outer edges of ham.
Whoa, okay. Talk more about how you ended up with this.
I don't know how I ended up with
this ham positioning.
Yeah.
So what does your plate look like? How much ham are you eating, by the way?
I'm eating The meaty middle, as you would say.
No, I mean, but how often do you eat ham? Tell all of our new friends your ham habits.
Once in a blue moon.
Can we buy hamhabits.com? Like smell Ty's hair?
We can check.
Yeah, Ty's ham habits is .edu. I don't know if we can buy that.
Do you have any weird quirks? I mean, you're the foodie between the two of us.
No, not really. I'm pretty boring with food. I don't.
You don't like tomatoes.
I don't like raw tomatoes, but I make pizza. Yeah. That's my thing. It's not that interesting.
No.
All right. Somebody just said respect in the front row. Okay. All right, what do you have?
This is the last pick. The Fantasy Things draft.
Show's not over. It's
Show's
a very
not over.
physical portion of the show coming up now. Continue.
5 years ago,
Yeah.
in New York, we did a show like this. And we went through late last night, actually planning the content for this show. And I discovered that on the heels of Notre Dame's 4-8 season, I selected a softer Brian Kelly. And they womp womp. Someone says womp womp. The story that everybody ran with in the run-up to that season, following the 4-8, was that Brian Kelly's doing yoga now.
He's doing yoga, yeah.
He's doing, it's a different Brian Kelly. And that sort of lasted for a little bit. They didn't go 4-8 again, but a softer Brian Kelly. This season, what's the story been? The offseason has been all about Brian Kelly getting $100 million from LSU. He started doing accents. I mean, it's normal to move to a place and then eventually pick up the drawl. He was there for 48 hours.
Yeah. Family.
So, it's clear Brian Kelly is living in that post-shame world. He's one of the torchbearers for said world.
Sorry.
Thank you.
I did I didn't want to continue.
This pick is for those times this season. There's a feature on game day where there's a post on social media, when there's a quote in the LSU student paper about Brian Kelly doing or hopefully explaining something Southern.
Yeah.
Because he's from there now.
Yeah, you understand.
I select a Southern Brian Kelly.
That's a good pick.
Final pick.
That's a good pick. There are a couple tells. There's a couple tells that will probably win you the entirety of this season if this hits. One, if he decides to start speaking in old-timey phrases, like, look, the tight end didn't get it done, but you can't teach a crawfish to play the piano. Like, I agree, but I don't know what that means. The other one, and this one you have to pay a lot of close attention to. We need quality audio for this one. If he says the word, and listen carefully, program. When you're running a program this big.
A U instead of an
U. The U at the end, when you're running a program.
That's right.
And a hum. That's the tell that we're getting a Southern Brian Kelly. I hope he goes to he's from where? Like the Boston area in Massachusetts?
From Massachusetts.
Yeah, he's from Massachusetts. Southern Massachusetts. Family, food, and football. Family. By the way, for him to stop doing that is insane. It was the most likable, in a backwards way, Brian Kelly has been in quite some time, family. So, I'm okay with him traveling the globe, adopting deep, deep accents immediately for whoever he's coaching. Going to Scotland, going to Minnesota, going to Hawaii, and just like going for it. I'm all in on shape-shifting Brian Kelly.
Shape-shifting Brian Kelly.
Yes. I mean, Brian Kelly in Japan. Everywhere Brian Kelly goes, he's just, okay. He's getting a read for a day.
Right.
Like,
when in Rome.
I think I get it.
Yeah. Brian Kelly.
That's a good one.
There will be these moments where Brian Kelly is explaining something Southern.
Yes.
Explaining it because he knows what it's like to be Southern.
He knows what it's like. Crawfish playing the piano. Come on. Okay, so do you want to go to others receiving votes? Where are we going now?
Well,
let's review the teams.
Here is a quick recap by just an informal vote here. if we could, by round of applause. Here is Dan's team. He's got the SEC, it just means too much. A new and improved USC hype machine. Big Ten offense that can't get its act together. Slow motion replay reveals a clear nut shot. Mario Cristobal has Miami DNA.
Yeah, play it. You guys.
Forgot that one on the first time.
No, that was
through.
good. 8-bit Gloria Estefan. We won't get in copyright trouble.
Kirk Herbstreit seems tired and weird food quirks. What do we think of Dan's team? All right. I've got punter or holder taking matters into his own hands. Announcers clearly cheating on the Aflac trivia question.
That's really good.
Notre Dame's youth movement. Joel Klatt was something to get off his chest. I love that one. I love that one. Fascination with a foreign-born player, a saucy onside kick, and a Southern Brian Kelly. Whose team is better?
Now,
Dan's or mine? Give it together for, or put it together for me. Or for this guy.
okay, Ty, you have this. This is all you.
At long last, I win one of these.
I think I like talking about yours more, but there's something very special to me about my go-getters on this roster.
There is a certain element of pride. So we did have an others receiving vote category. To give you guys some context, what goes into this. First off, we did come up with this last night.
We had a bank, but
we
yeah,
had
there's
a bank,
lot. Yeah.
But this was a last night creation. We have a Google Doc, a long bank of items that we've been just sort of cultivating over the last year or so. We haven't done a live show in a couple of years, so we're always trying to think of things that could rise to this level. A couple that are others receiving votes, Dan.
I'm ready.
I don't know if there are any on here that you would like to swap in for any existing picks.
There's some on here that I want to talk about, but I don't know if it's going to happen all that often.
Jimbo Fisher gets testy.
That's good.
Jimbo Fisher getting testy.
Yeah. This is a very phallic show that we randomly did. Sorry, you're saying testy a lot.
I think it's time we recognize Jimbo as the performance artist that he is.
Yes.
You know, and the whole Nick Saban kerfuffle, I think, was proof positive of that. He just signed the best recruiting class of all time, which, by the way, is what Discord suggested.
Yeah, that was the steal pick.
That was the steal
Texas
pick.
A&M signed the best recruiting class ever.
So he really, he has nothing to be defensive about at this point.
Right.
He's doing great.
Right.
Just chill.
Yeah.
Take a step
I
back.
agree. Well, it's just also, how do you understand what he says and whether or not it's testy or not? He goes very quickly.
It's a little Farmer Fran from the water boy.
I don't watch college football games with the closed captions, but I will watch Jimbo Fisher interviews. What does he say? Squinting like a Notre Dame fan. What does he say? Yeah.
We also have Pylon Cam gets knocked out.
That's good. That's all, but that is common.
We have Gale Force wins.
I like that.
Yep. Ollie Williams. Fansville takes it too far.
Okay. So this was the one I wanted to talk about. So
they're still doing the Fansville thing, right?
Right. Well, so every so often, so Dr. Pepper is too big a company to let something slide in a commercial that it shouldn't get into, right? That's not English. They shouldn't let I've had half a beer. But there is a universe that exists in which Dr. Pepper on Monday morning tweets out a statement that begins with, "In retrospect." This commercial did not go through the proper channels of approval. I don't know what it involves, but it's gonna go to a place at some point if they keep making these god-awful commercials.
It's like year 8 of these.
I know.
Feels like we've been living in Fansville all last decade. Announcers struggle to understand TikTok.
That's good.
Surprisingly easy Hail Mary.
So this one I had because I enjoy a surprisingly easy Hail Mary.
Where it just kind of falls into...
Yeah, I imagine it'll happen against, let's be honest, Nebraska or something like that. Where Nebraska... I don't know why they're taking hits, but I kind of do.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something wonderful about, well, it's right before halftime, we might as well heave it down the field. And then somebody just kept, not even tipped. It was just like, well, I was right behind him. It just came to me. I don't know.
Like the Michael Westbrook one.
Yes.
That was sort of a surprisingly, not for Cordell Stewart, but
yes,
for Michael Westbrook, it just sort of fell upon him.
Right there. I like a surprisingly easy Hail Mary. What else do we have?
Someone's mom's athletic history.
That's good. That's Del Curry's former wife now. They bring that up a lot. I hope everybody's happy in the Curry family. I don't hold anything against him.
Del Curry heavy show.
Yeah.
Did not have that one on the bingo card. A ref gets creamed.
I love that. Poor guy.
And a game moved to a non-sports channel.
Yeah, those are always difficult for me. When it goes to CNBC or Fox
Continue watching
Business.
on Fox Business.
Yeah. That's difficult. Yeah. There's a reason why those were others receiving votes. Fansville takes it too far. I would, if I had another pick, I might grab that one. And I still don't know what it means.
That's your that's your fob pick.
Yes,
right after the
absolutely. So, you have the better squad. I think. I don't know. Oh, yeah.
Per our lovely audience, yes.
Yeah. Where are we going now? Or do you want me to dance to more Gloria Estefan?
No more Gloria Estefan.
By the way, I say that a lot. I enjoy the fact that if we are going to consider an 8-bit Gloria Estefan song, that almost implies the existence of an 8-bit Gloria Estefan. That there's a video game with the Miami Sound Machine, whatever it's called, that Gloria Estefan exists in those pixels. And I would play that video game.
Like
all right.
a Wreck-It Ralph situation, if you will.
Whoa, Wreck-It Gloria. What are we doing now?
So here is the way this works. Thank you to one and all for witnessing this monstrosity of a show that we've just performed for you live. Thank you, Chicago, for being here. We appreciate it. We will very quickly go into an audience participation segment of this show. We've got a microphone over there. But before we get to that point, before we invite people up here to ask questions, the most embarrassing portion of the show, always and forever for those of us on stage, put it together for Chicago, over New York, over LA, over Atlanta. Let's hear it. For that guy over there, my good friend Dan Rubenstein, for myself, Ty Hildebrand, thank you one and all for being here for the Fantasy Themes Draft 2022. Stay solid.
Peace.